Are consumers crazy, or maybe just a little misunderstood? Any discussion of changing consumer behavior always implies that it is individuals that are changing. After all, the assumption behind it is that all consumers are basically the same, divided up only by income, age, or another factor. If that was true, we should be very worried about our fellow citizens. Apparently, in the morning, Mr. Consumer slashes expenditure left, right, and centre, and then after lunch nips over to the Audi dealer to buy the cool and expensive Q5 in record numbers. Meanwhile, Mrs. Consumer is getting up before dawn to fight others for the best deals on Black Friday, and then rushes to Whole Foods to buy organic, healthy food at premium prices. If these people were part of your family, you would be calling a shrink and booking them in for invasive therapy. But that is what we are told every day is the behavior of the American consumer. By looking at 2,000 measures of nearly 1 million consumers over a decade, we're happy to be able to tell you that no member of your family, or the American consumer, is crazy, but they are very misunderstood. What is really going on is that two fundamentally different types of people are behaving in two fundamentally different ways. What originally seems like it might be society-wide schizophrenia actually becomes far easier to understand when you comprehend the two-planet principle. That people's purchase decisions are driven by such different sets of values that they can be regarded as living on two entirely separate planets. What is fascinating, though, is that on each planet, the inhabitants are incredibly consistent. Understand them in more depth, and you start to draw completely new conclusions. On Planet Traditional, we have 52% of the population, and their purchase decisions are dominated by just 3 factors: price, features, and status. The Extraordinary Deal dominates Planet Traditional. A great example of this is Hyundai. Great cars, loaded with features at incredible prices. Their real genius, though, was the Hyundai Guarantee, which allowed people who brought a car to give it back if they lost their job. They made it risk-free. Planet Traditional perfection. While auto sales slumped in January 2009, sales of the Sonata sedan jumped by 85%, and they doubled their overall market share and have maintained it ever since. This only tells part of the story, however, as there are many wealthy people on Planet Traditional for whom status is their dominant driver. For an extreme example of these high-status traditionals, think Donald Trump pulling up to a private golf club in a Maybach. Or Wall Street traders and rap stars sitting in the same nightclub, both drinking Cristal. Using conventional measures, you would never put these people together. But when you look at what fundamentally drives them, they're blood relatives. For high-status traditionals, consumption is a status symbol. When economic times are good, people on Planet Traditional spend freely, and in some cases, wildly. But as the economy turns down, they go into spending bunkers. Rich or poor, traditionals need to feel that they are getting an extraordinary deal in order to spend their money. This doesn't change quickly, and for many, it had a devastating effect. Even Mercedes-Benz is killing the Maybach brand. If you hear that conspicuous consumption is out of fashion in America, what you're really hearing is the sound of 127 million people on Planet Traditional saying, hell no. But what they are often saying is, hell no, unless you give me one hell of a deal. Nail it on Planet Traditional, and the sheer volume of people can really move the dial. But it's the natural terrain of big players, able to slash costs to lower prices, splurge millions on expensive advertising campaigns, or have 200 years of European heritage for status. Planet Neo is the home of the new economic order. Spending here is driven by a search for quality, design, experience, and authenticity. With their strong sense of individuality, things of personal meaning rather than badges of belonging to a specific group or trend are what motivates Neos. This thirst for personal relevance leads them to seek out the new and the edgy opportunities that exist outside of the mainstream. Also on Planet Neo are people whose basic motivations fit the Neo typology, but they just don't have the economic resources to fulfill them all the time. A $3 latte in the locally owned espresso bar, no problem. $50,000 for an Audi, not yet. We call these people evolvers, as their consumption decisions are primarily driven by the same factors as Neos, but without quite as much economic impact. Neos are twice as likely as traditionals to start a new business. And they spend 3 times more on eating out, an amazing 6 times more on travel. Despite being only 24% of the population, Neos dominate every category of elective consumption. There are plenty of 70-year-old Neos, just like there are 20-year-old traditionals. But Neos and Evolvers dominate every age category under the age of 50. In 10 years, they'll dominate the entire workforce and consumer base. Planet Neo is ascending. Truly align yourself with the individualistic Neos, and you can thrive. Anthropology makes every store visit an adventure in discovery. Mini has made small cars sexy, fun, and individual. Understanding what motivates Neos to spend could be the most important decision any business owner ever makes. Chipotle is a great example of a business that thrives on Planet Neo. Founder Steve Ellis wanted fast food with integrity, so built a company using locally sourced and often organic ingredients from family-owned farms, meat raised without antibiotics, and a commitment to the environment. Did it work? All the way through the recession, the company has had double-digit growth, while the other fast food chains have been slashing each other's throats with dollar menus. Neos are great economic rationalists, and if something truly connects with them, then price is often just the cost of falling in love. But they are not fools. If a Neo regards the product as a commodity, then they will act just like traditionals and demand the lowest price. Connecting with Neos is not hard, but it's also incredibly easy to get wrong. Intuition will get you some of the way, but some of the way is nowhere near far enough. When you see the world through the two-planet principle, you have a new clarity and understanding. There really is no such thing as the consumer, and that way of thinking just leads to confusion and expensive mistakes. Remember, there are 2 fundamentally different types of people behaving in 2 fundamentally different ways. Success comes from being in alignment with who the buyers really are and what they value. The reason businesses struggle or do not live up to their potential is that they are chasing illusions, not the real buyers. Every year, businesses waste billions of dollars trying to sell things to people who don't value them. When things are wrong at a fundamental level, they can never truly work, no matter how much effort and money you throw at them. What every business person needs to ask themselves is, what planet are my customers on? And if I'm not on that planet, then I'm not just misunderstood, I'm crazy.